Hi, Guido Fox here. Welcome by part 2 of Nietzsche's Zarathustra. This is the second book from Osho about the work of Zarathustra, about the famous book of Nietzsche. And I want to discuss with you the main topics here, the main wisdoms here, what Osho was discover about Nietzsche's book, what is very difficult to understand, what is very difficult to know all those subtitles, all those subtitles in the book, all those small wisdoms between the lines, and that is it all about. You mean a lot of people are reading books and they see some sentences and they know the storyline, but there are a lot of depth, wisdoms between the lines, and also in short, very short sentences where you think, okay, that is some extraordinary knowledge. I mean, you know also probably in the Bible has 7 depth lines in every story. And that was the same with the Zarathustra story and the Zarathustra wisdom. So I think a lot of people are reading books and they know the storyline and think, oh, this it is. But if you look at the book of Osho, 500 pages about the work of Nietzsche, there is some more wisdoms. You can manage a lot of wisdoms more out of the knowledge of Nietzsche. So I like to discuss with you the main topics, the main points here. Part 2. So I hope you also saw part 1. And now we step over to part 2. The first sentence where I got an eye on, where I get a little bit more excited, is about what is wisdom? What is exactly wisdom? And wisdom is, if you look at Osho and based on the knowledge of Nietzsche, he said wisdom is always untamed, wisdom is always wild, and wisdom is always spontaneous. And it is a very interesting is an interesting quote, is an interesting sentence, because we always thinking that wisdom is something in our memory, what we can learn and recognize and putting in our memory. That is a kind of wisdom. You have a lot of TV shows here on the Dutch television, and then they ask you the question, okay, which date the Second World War was starting, right? Or what kind of color was the dress of our queen with this kind of event? So, what we're thinking in our society is that wisdom is something in your memory and that you can recognize or repeat the past. So the color of the queen's dress, or which year World War II was starting. And if you know the right answer, then you are the smartest guy of the world. You are praised by everyone because you are the smartest guy of the Netherlands or of the world, because you know that 2 years ago the Queen's dress was orange, our Dutch color, right? So that's what you see in our Western civilization, is that wisdom something is our memory. And here we're going a step higher, we're going to more Eastern wisdoms. And here you see that wisdom is more spontaneously, is more wild, is more flowering, is more untamed, and is actually doing and making the right choices on the right moment. Say the right things on the right moment. That is much more wisdom if it's coming out of your amazing flowering chakra energy, your ecstaticness inside. If you're speaking from there, if you're spontaneously and saying things from your heart, is much and much more wisdom than going in your memory and saying World War II was starting in the Netherlands in 1940. If I don't be wrong, there are some terrorists. World War II starting in 1998 or 1938, but here the Netherlands was starting on 1940. So wisdom is much more than your memory. And that has to be understood because your memory can be a spiritual burden for your growth. Your memory in your past and constantly that nonsense information when World War II was starting, nonsense information, you adapt that because of our school systems, and it can be a mentally spiritual burden for grow in your life. So let the past be a little bit more the past. Not going back to the past so much and put all that nonsense information in your mind. Act more spontaneously. If you have a presentation somewhere, do it once, twice. Prepare for it and then let it over to the universe and act more spontaneously without all those PowerPoint sheets, all those bullet points. You become so much a robot. You become so much a machine. You can't do it better, right? You can do it more spontaneously, more wild, more flowly, and saying the right things on the right moment. And that is intuition. And how higher spiritual, how better your intuition is working, and how more you can react what is fitting in this circumstances with this kind of people. What can I say here? What can I say not here? You will learn to calibrate situational. What is wisdom here? What is right to do here? And what is not right to do here? That's also something what I think that is wisdom, to calibrate the situation and to know what you can say in a certain group situations or what not to say. So that is, in my eyes, that is wisdom. And I want to make a bridge. I want to make a bridge to Karl Marx and Kierkegaard. Karl Marx is the famous philosopher who was finding out communism. And this guy on page 82 was actually only in the library. Karl Marx was only in the library. He was only there reading books, writing books. He never stepped out of his library. So therefore communism was not working out, because people have, of course, no drive to work harder if you get the same salary, if everyone gets the same house and everyone gets the same salary, then you have no inner power to work harder for the job you are doing, right? So therefore communism never and never works out for mentally supportiveness for people, but also not for society in the whole perspective, right? It can only exist with fear, top-down fear mechanisms. But what you see is that Karl Marx and also Kierkegaard, another philosopher, was always staying inside, always staying in his own small world, his own small library, and never put their knowledge in practical form. And So what I want to give you advice, not staying reading books all the time, not working all the time in your office, but also go outside and talk to people and do a little bit social day love and know the world and go traveling and go outside and know how your theories is working out in practical circumstances. So that is also, I think, wisdom. Wisdom is not only out of the books, but wisdom is also a practical mechanism for you can also be more streetwise. We always think wisdom is bookwise, but wisdom is also a kind of streetwise acting. So bookwise and be a little bit more streetwise too. I think that's a nice and wonderful combination to grow in your wisdom. And Osho said also on page 82, yeah, Karl Marx was nothing else than a schooler. He was just a schooler and not a full living human being. So be more total, be more inner and outer, be more full loaded of meditation energy and discover the world a little bit more, right? So don't be a schooler all your life. Also live your life more on an intense way. Page 21. 121, I have to say. And I want to read this sentence for you guys. Going around the earth, it is very difficult to find a single human being who has not been stamped, who is still free from the mob, who is still free from the crowd, who is still himself, and who is living fearlessly according to his nature. And that's a very interesting sentence, right? Fearlessly living to your nature. Zarathustra was living to his nature, to his inner being fearlessly. How much people have fear in their system to live according to your own principles, to your own values. Think about that, right? Are you living truly following your own values, your own principles? Or are you living because the state, the society, your friends, or your father or mother, or your family is saying that to you? Are you living your life what you really want to live deeply, without all those pressures in your surroundings, all those expectations from your social circles? So it's very special if someone is going for him or herself fully alone and is not influenced by the mediocrity anymore. I saw a documentary about an old lady, and she lived in the forest, somewhere in the Ukraine forest. I hope it's now silence for her with the war, but she was so peaceful. She was so relaxed. She was so happy. She was so natural. She was not corrupted by society. She was still innocent. So we are corrupted by society, and therefore we cannot be ourselves, cannot go what we want to be. So that's also wisdom, right? To find your own source in life. To find your own path of life, your career life, what you really want to do. So many people don't follow their real purpose in life. Don't follow the love life they want to have. Don't follow the sexual life they want to have. They always stay the same and stay in the mediocre society conditionings and never have the power to step out of that and become more wise and spontaneous and wild, flowering person, right? We are so conditioned. You don't know how much you're conditioned with false belief systems. Page 158. The Superman must be an open book, right? The Superman. Nietzsche was talking about the Superman. Zarathustra was the Superman. He escaped from society. He escaped from it and became the Superman. The Superman must be an open book. You must be spontaneous. You must be flowing and free and not hiding some issues. We are so hiding. We are so scared to share. We are so formed. We are so closed. We are so afraid to shine. So be more an open book. Zarathustra, the Superman, was an open book. And you will be more vulnerable. Maybe people were laughing you out. I don't care, right? But if you're more an open book, your energy is streaming much more better than holding yourself small and holding yourself closed. So wisdom is also be a shining person, a sharing person in all your vulnerability. People can touch you, but you will be a better person if you're doing that. So be more open, be more spontaneous, more shining person. Page 302, we make a big step in the book, and I want to read this sentence to you, and it's about the womb of the mother. The womb of the mother. Psychologists say the experience of 9 months in the mother's womb is the basic cause for a tremendous desire in men and women to find again the same home, the same old days of peace and silence, of no worry, no struggle, no other, of being oneself alone and enough unto oneself. There seems to be some truth in it. Come home, without tears, from the wild, from the strange lands. That's what Zarathustra was writing down there. So, in every human person wants to go back to that nice womb of your mother where it was peace, silence, no struggle, no competition. You were fearless there. You were excited there in the womb of your mother. What is going to happen in my life? What is going to happen in this world? You were excited. You were curious, right? In that womb from your mother. You were innocent. You were a very innocent child there. You're fearless. No worries. You're silent there. You want to discover the world. And we have all that desire, that we can step out of this competition world, this shouting world, this arguing world constantly, this fighting world, this struggling world. We want to step out of there and become more the innocent child. The innocent child in the womb of your mother. And then the circle of samsara is finished if you are the innocent child again. And you find that peace and you find that calmness and you find your home again. You find your home again. So that's an interesting, deeper wisdom analyze, right? That we all have the desire to come back to the place where you come from. 548. 548. This morning my day begins. Rising up now, rise up, and I'm louder, I'm smiling, I'm happy. Thus spoke Zarathustra and left his cave, glowing and strong, like a morning sun emerging from behind dark mountains. He escaped from the cave, from his home, glowing and strong. You can be enlightened and strong. You can be glowing and glistering and ecstatic, your vibe. And you can be strong together. You can be strong in your feminine energy. People are thinking always you're strong in your male energy. Male, striving, fighting, arguing. Well, here it's the other way around. You can be strong in your feminine, soft, glowing energy. The female is always winning from the male. The female can break the male. Females are always higher in their energy, in the spiritual energy, than males. They're more sensitive, they're more intuitive, they're more spontaneous, they're more wild, they have more wisdom. So the female is much more important. And then it is both. Then you can choose. I choose to be now more in my male energy part, or I choose to be more in my female energy part. But I can choose because I have both. Then you will be glowing, then you will be strong, then you will be optimal balanced. You're optimal balanced in your energies. If you have the female and the male energy into yourself, then you will be glowing and you will be strong. Thank you for watching to this video and to the next one. Hi.